Hi everyone, welcome back to this new live stream in 2022, and welcome to this new live stream with CryptoTicker. My name is Rudy Ferris, and I'm a senior editor with CryptoTicker. And this is our very first live stream in 2022, and a lot has happened in the past week or two. We saw that how cryptocurrencies fell from their uptrend, and in some places they broke their uptrends, and we officially went into a short-term consolidation period where most cryptocurrencies in the past week lost slightly in market cap. And as we can see right here, I am basically starting with showing an overview of the entire cryptocurrency market. Today, what we're going to do is basically assess what's basically happening in the cryptocurrency market on a fundamental basis. And we have a very special guest who's going to also join me and do his own analysis of the market. And he's going to also share with us tips and tricks on how to approach market trends in 2022. The year is starting today, and we must know whether the market is going to be a good one to invest, or we are going to see a market like the one back in 2018. Back then, if for people who don't know, the market fell heavily after reaching an all-time high, and most altcoins also soared in prices. But as soon as Bitcoin reached almost $20,000, it suddenly crashed and everything started to fall. And for the next year, prices only became in a bearish trend. And this is what happened back then. And we hope that this year is not the same. What we're going to do now is basically look at the top 10 and the market as a whole. So in the past 24 hours, the market is down by 1%. And this is not much, but if we look at most cryptocurrencies, even in the past 10 days, so in the past week, we can see how prices are slightly downward. And when I say slightly, when I see a 7% decrease in, for example, Matic, in the cryptocurrency market, this is something very normal. Whereas in the equity market, for example, stocks or even FX that move by 0.1 or 2%, and the cryptocurrency market is known to be very volatile, and 7% to 10% usually happens, and this is not something unusual. So let's go back to the top 10, and we can see how Bitcoin's price fell again below below $50,000, currently at $46,000. It is down by 3% in the past week, and its total market cap fell below 1 trillion, of course. We are currently at $177 billion market cap. Ether also fell below $4,000. We are currently around 3.7K, with kind of almost half the market cap of Bitcoin. So we have almost 900 billion for Bitcoin and 450 billion for ETH. And if we combine those two, we will have like almost $1.3 trillion market cap versus 2.2 trillion market cap. So the rest of the altcoins are around 1 trillion, 1.1. We move to Binance Coin, that is down also by 3% in the past week, with a current price of $500, 507, 508. Tether, a stable coin, we that its market cap is almost around 80 billion as well. And we can see that whenever we see a stable coin rising in the ranks of the altcoins, definitely the price of stable coins are always capped at $1. So for each one Tether, for this specific example, USDT, we have $1 backed up. Also, they say, because there are many speculations and many lawsuits saying that Tether company is not correctly backed up on a basis of 1-to-1. But hey, this is a different discussion for now. But usually stablecoins should be backed up by $1-to-1 on a 1-to-1 basis. So whenever we see a stablecoin going up in the ranks, it's basically not because the price is changing. We have two factors, either the price or the circulating supply. And for Tether, the circulating supply, whenever there's more demand for this token, we will see a higher circulating supply. And that's why, if you notice, the circulating supply of stable coins are not capped like Bitcoin, for example, or XRP. Some are capped, some aren't. So this is basically, it depends on the project. That's why whenever we want to invest in a cryptocurrency, we must always understand what the project is about. I cannot go and invest in a company, for example, buy a company that I don't know what they do, what their services are, what their plans are for the next year or two. What problem are they solving in the society? So there are many factors to consider whenever you want to invest in a certain project. So let's continue to Solana. Solana made headlines in 2021. And today, 2022, prices kind of fell back a bit lower, and its current price is at 160. But if, by the way, if we look at the total year-to-date performance of each coin that we are looking at right now, it's minimum, everything minimum doubled. Like for example, Solana was around $80 to $90. Now it's at 160. Bitcoin last year was around 30. Now it's at around 46. Although it reached 60, but went back to 46 currently. XRP was around 20 to 30 cents, and now it is around 82 cents, and we're going to reach that. So the cryptocurrency market did indeed increase in market cap. And 2022, we're going to see if that's going to continue or not with our next guest. Let's continue for now really quick, looking at Cardano. The current price is around 1.3. We are back towards, like we are slightly up above the $1 price mark. Cardano and XRP, they both share the same psychological price area, which is the $1. The market cap is 44 billion for Cardano, which is basically kind of, if we look around half of BNB. At some point, Cardano managed to reach number 3, by the way. USD coin is another stable coin that is now in the top 10. Last year, it wasn't. Only recently, in the last quarter of 2021, it rose to the top 10. And this is, by the way, because whenever we have a bear market in cryptocurrencies, most investors, they liquidate. They need to, for example, I want to sell my dollars, but I want to buy something else instead. So whenever I am selling my cryptocurrency, either I'm going to buy an actual currency or I'm going to go towards a stable coin. And that's because most exchanges, they allow you to exchange stable coins to cryptos. USD. So whenever I was talking, whenever there's a bear market, naturally people will liquidate towards something that is stable with the price that is not volatile, that is steady, and they will go towards stable coins. See stable coins high, the market cap going higher, we can basically assess and say that investors are sitting at the sidelines waiting for the bear market to end in order to swap back to their favorite altcoin. XRP is at 82 cents. It basically fell. It was consolidating around 1 and 1.1 in the last 3 to 4 months. But currently it is around 82 cents. It fell towards 75 almost and back is 80. And it's been like that for the past more than 2 weeks, I believe. Like for now, I can see that in the past 7 days, it's barely down by 1.4, 1.5%. And this is indication that the 80 cents is a very strong support for XRP. We have Terra Luna also that managed to break into the top 10 for this year. And it is currently at number 9 with a market cap of $30 billion. This project, by the way, was barely valued at around 1 or 2 billion, even less. I clearly remembered, and we wrote an article here at CryptoTicker about Terra Luna, how there's a huge potential in investing in this project. And we saw how the price boomed in the past, let's say 4 to 5 months. Prices of Terra just shot way high and then corrected naturally with the entire cryptocurrency market. We have at number 10, finally, we reach over Polkadot. That is currently around $30, 29.2 specifically. In the past 7 days, though, we can see a good increase of 3.8, almost 4% in prices. And this is basically due to a lot of chains. And there are many talks about parachains and how to be able to use and utilize different chains. And this is basically allows projects to help scalability and be able to reach further in the innovations of blockchains. Parachains is a highly discussed topic lately. A lot of projects that are into parachains are seeing a very good increase in prices. And yeah, this is basically what's up with the top 10. I will look really briefly over known cryptocurrencies after the top 10. So we have AVAX that has been also that managed to breach the top 10 for a very brief period of time. And now it's at number 11. Its price is around $105 with a market cap of 25 billion. We have Dogecoin. That's a very sad story where prices were around 80 cents at one time, and people were waiting for the price to reach even $1. But then everything shattered after Elon Musk went on the Saturday Night Live show, and the anticipation happened. Didn't go as planned, and instead of prices going booming higher, prices just shattered as soon as the event happened. And this is mainly because many people were already bought Dogecoin at a very low price, and they just liquidated their positions, leaving prices to go in a free fall back to lower prices. Currently, we are around 16 to 17 cents. Very sad story. Dogecoin was around number 5 or 6 or 7 in the top. Shiba Inu, on the other hand, managed to climb to number 13. Now, this project was very, very undervalued, and suddenly we started to see, after Doge's collapse, we started to see a lot of Dogecoin alternatives. We have Shiba Inu coin, we have Doge Elon, we have many Doge tokens that are surfacing. And those are basically meme tokens where there's a community behind them, and there's a lot of hype around the meme specifically. And people just interested in buying the token for the sake of buying and partaking in this community, rather than just having a value in the long term. Now, a lot of projects started like that, but at a later stage, they developed a vision where, for example, and this, by the way, helps a lot of projects to even get higher attention in the crypto community. Rather than only being a laugh stock in the community, they become they will have a very nice vision, and this pumps prices even higher. Matic, on the other hand, we can see here that prices are almost 7% in the past week. But if we look at the previous weeks before that, towards the end of mid-December to the end of December, prices were skyrocketing, and prices went from a price of $1.5 all the way towards $2.3, a current 2.3. So looking at prices, how they fell by 7%, this explains how prices were around 2.4, 2.45, or at times 2.5. Have a price of 2.3 for Matic made a lot of gains for many traders and investors. We at CryptoTicker also wrote a lot of articles about Matic and how important it is to buy Matic at around $1.5, and today we're at 2.3. And that was a very good trade setup for most investors. Binance USD is another stable for the company Binance. It has a market cap of 14 billion, which is very significant, by the way. Crypto.com coin, it also rose to fame after the marketing that's being done for the company. So they recently, for example, bought an arena in the States called the Crypto.com Arena. And for people who watch UFC, for example, most and a lot of other sports as well, you can clearly see the branding of crypto.com on many people. And by the way, this project is being talked that they will even rise further in 2022. We have a company behind this, board of executives, marketing departments that are working to increase the value of the company, definitely. We have Chainlink, currently very high at around 10% today, and the past week around 30%. And this is, by the way, if we look at the circulating supply of Link, we are less than half, around less than half. So the maximum supply of Link is around 1 billion, and we are currently around kind of a bit less than 500 million, and the price basically is was specifically on an uptrend for the past week, and even more than a week. There's a lot of talk about Link, and in the crypto community, people buying this cryptocurrency. Uniswap is up by 6%, 7% in the past week. We have wrapped Bitcoin at around that as well. So if we go back, let me just check here the other altcoins. Okay, so that's not what that was Chainlink and Uniswap. We have wrapped Bitcoin at around 46 as well. We have Algorand at around 21% in the past week, and that's our top 20. Let's look at the top gainers for the past week. In the top gainers, we have Cosmos Atom that is up by almost 50%. And this is a very good figure, by the way, as most tokens failed to do so in the past week. And we are talking in a bearish market as well, which is very weird to see a project soar in such a short period of time. We have also Ravencoin up by 40%. By the way, I do remember all our articles because I edit most of our articles, and we did specifically talk about Atom. We talked about Raven. Now ICP, of course, we didn't talk about. Personally, I don't believe much in ICP. This project suddenly appeared in the top 10, and its prices just shattered to the ground. Back then, and prices went towards even $10 to $15, and now we are around $33, and it's up by almost 40% in the past week. Harmony 1 is up by 34%, VLX 33, Secret 33, Phantom 32%. This is a very interesting project as well. Link, we just talked about, around 30, and then after that we jumped to Yearn Finance around 21%. Very good. I think for now we can let's have a quick look over some cryptocurrencies from a technical perspective before we jump into our guest for today. I'm going to just technically look at Bitcoin, since this is a very one of the the biggest cryptocurrency in the market. And let me go to BTC USD. Maybe we can just check how we can clearly and quickly do a technical analysis and how not to read charts, because many people miss reading charts correctly. We at CryptoTicker like using TradingView. It is basically our favorite technical charting and charting software. And here it is. We have BTC USD, the 1-day chart. And I'm going to, by the way, start a very new chart so you guys don't get freaked out by our awesome technical analysis. I'm going to start something new, a new layout. And then I'm going to show you how to basically plot our support, resistances, and how to assess the current situation in the market. And if anyone has any questions, please put them in the comment section right here. And let's see. So 2022 started in a kind of a bearish outlook. So since, if I look correctly, since October 20, the market has been falling and falling. We failed to break out of this bearish trend, but we can clearly see how prices went back toward the previous low, which is around $30,000. I'm looking right now at the dominance, excuse me. And so the dominance as well, this is another topic that I wanted to discuss, and it's good that this chart opened up right here. Market dominance keeps on falling and falling. And this is a clear indication that altcoins are making higher gains than Bitcoin. And this is how what I just saw right here Bitcoin lost around 2 to 3% in the past week, whereas we had Ravencoin, Link, Phantom, all those other altcoins booming by 20 to 30 to even 40% in the past week. And this is how projects are starting to get out of this Bitcoin dilemma, which whenever Bitcoin is up, the others are up. Whenever Bitcoin is down, it's going to go down. The lowest point is around 30 to 40%. And this is like 39.5 currently, which is like, I think it's a really good indication that buying altcoin at this stage is a good thing to do when you want to diversify your portfolio. So going back to BTC USD, not sure how this opened, by the way. Very good. And by the way, if you look at the dominance, it is a clear indication of, so whenever price of Bitcoin reach somewhere, the dominance kind of always go as well to a very specific area at the same time. So it is very similar to see that prices since November and even October. So this is where we were seeing the dominance at a high point. And when we saw that Bitcoin rose, but the dominance went lower, this is a very clear indication that there's a switch happening, and people are calling that the flippening. So for Bitcoin, it reached 67 and then 68, almost $69,000. And all the memes started to happen at 69. And then prices started to fall lower and lower. And we managed to see a bear market. So this bear market was very harsh. We managed to have very few adjustments every now and then, but we never managed to break out of this bear market. So if I plot the downward trend, prices never managed to recover upwards. So if you are buying at this stage, this is a very bad deal for you. You should never buy whenever you see something like that. Whenever you see a break upwards, this is where you should think of entering the market. This is number one. If you are looking and you want to know how to specifically trade, this is what you should definitely follow. Let me look more in the chart. A clear downtrend. There's no talk about it. So let me just pinpoint before the very strong support that we reached. And this is our support level of almost $45,000, between 45 and 46. Prices kind of stopped falling lower. And we can basically very clearly see a triangle right here. And prices have like a turning point to do. They will either go higher and they will break this downward trend, the upper band of this downtrend. Either they will break it from right here, or they will break it lower and continue falling. And specifically now, traders are advised to wait in order to place their trades. You cannot trade right now, and I don't think this is a good idea to buy Bitcoin right here, unless your strategy is to place a very tight stop loss below that area and then place your target at around $50,000, because this is a psychological price area, and I think that prices are bound to go again towards this specific price. So we are now on the lower end of this triangle, and we await confirmation of the trend. Either it's going to go higher, either it's going to fall a bit lower than that support line right here. And this is where we wait and just prepare our trading strategy. Very good. So for now, what did we do so far? We went over, what's it called? The top 10, the market as a whole, really a quick recap, very brief, very on the surface, if you might say. And also we went over some numbers about each token. And then now we looked at Bitcoin at a technical level. There are more important stuff to do when you are assessing the market. You have to look into the overall market cap, for example, and other technical stuff. And this is what we're specifically going to do with our very special guest today. And let me introduce my very good friend, Daniel. Let me just here go over and say hi to Daniel. And you're
Hi. Hi, can you guys hear me?
very fine. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
That's awesome, man. I didn't specifically quite yet introduce you, but I'm going to leave that to you, my friend. Go ahead, introduce us. Who are you? What do you do? And everything you do in the crypto sphere.
Okay. Well, my name is Daniel Rubio. You might otherwise know myself as the Crypto Dolphin. I move in several circles through crypto. On Telegram, on Discord, on our own server. Um and many other places as well, as like crypto Twitter
Awesome.
and Bitcoin Talk and other places where crypto has been developed, like the original subreddit for Coin Farm or slash biz on 4chan and other crypto hubs, to say the least, and some DAOs lately, since the past year. Um, well, my history with crypto, like I've known crypto since 2013 because I had a GPU,
Right.
and basically everybody could learn about magic internet money, and which was basically used on the dark web. But I got into the market back in late 2016, early 2017, and I've been working on crypto, both as a trader, as a content creator, as well as I've also helped on the tokenomics of several protocols, mostly Terra related, like Luna related, and yeah. So that's basically my background. I have some history with this. I've been on crypto like really hard for 5 years now, 5 6 years now, and yeah. So today I'm gonna show you guys just a brief overlook of how I see the macro market as a whole. Uh, what do I see on a technical level and a fundamental level on different trends that I've been seeing, and how I can reflect on it and act on it. Right.
Awesome, very
So
good, man. That's specifically what many people need, by the way, especially with the start of 2022. Many crypto enthusiasts and people who are maybe a beginner in the sphere in this sector, if you want, they don't know what's happening with cryptocurrencies. Why are they falling? Why are we seeing Bitcoin going lower and lower? We were very happy with Bitcoin reaching 60 and almost $70,000. Why are we today at $45,000? And the most important question, which is, are we going to continue in this bearish trend throughout 2022? So I will leave the floor to you if you want to share your screen and let us know what's really happening in the cryptocurrency market.
sure. So here, there's a few things that we must know right now, and that's like in this precise moment, no market has been moving. It's just been like just really illiquid markets. That's not only crypto, but traditional finance as well. Everybody's waiting for the FOMC, so the Federal Reserve minutes, which where they will be either more hawkish or more dovish in regarding the yield curve flattening. So basically, if they're gonna increase the expectations on inflation, or if not, and if they're gonna raise the rates for the different like the reserve and stuff, or if it's gonna be a nothing burger, right? So just so you know, it's gonna be in 25 minutes from now, on
Mhm.
2 p.m. Eastern time. We might get some volatility right there, like right after it starts, or right after the FOMC meeting
Mhm.
ends. It happens more or less the same way every year, and we haven't really had much liquidity in the markets in the past month or something. So that's something to take into account.
Yeah, yeah.
To show it in a different way, I'm gonna be presenting just a general overview of the market, and how I see it on a technical level. So first of all, what I do is that I check the total crypto market cap, and I have my reasons just to do this so everybody understands. Why do I check the total crypto market cap? I do it because I just want to know if there's actually new money coming into the market, or if it's just all of us dumping into each other and rotating between just capital rotation.
Mm.
Markets are basically liquidity musical chairs, so you seriously um, need to have new liquidity, new people coming in. Like most of the yield that we get from crypto is from that bullish momentum, right? And that bullish momentum is mostly based on like new people coming in. So what have we seen since May, since the big fall from May? Uh, on a fundamental level, there's a couple of things that have happened. One of those was that all the mining operation was basically taken out from China, which was
Ah.
mostly centralized in China before. Now the Americans took it, and it's mostly America, and they even created enough liquid financial vehicles that are liquid enough so they can hedge their mining operation without having to sell into the market. That's why many of the on-chain analysts that you might have seen on crypto Twitter and other places, they might be telling you like, yeah, this is super bullish because we haven't had any major inflow of BTC or other assets into the exchanges. But that's to be expected because they don't need to do it now. Like in the past, all the Chinese miners, they just sent all the crypto back to the exchanges and they sold over there. So it was an easy way to know when things were gonna go down like bad, like really, really bad. So nowadays it's much more confusing, right?
Mhm.
So you got inflows, you got outflows on the different exchanges, and the general theory on it, because I know many people are not gonna understand on a first basis, but the general thesis is that if you got major inflows into the exchanges, it's basically to sell. Sometimes
Mhm.
people will have inflows into exchanges to use as collateral, but that's usually not when there's such a high risk of liquidation, of high volatility, and rather when the risk reward ratio is much higher, right?
Yeah. So I understand from you that regulations and regulating crypto mining, for example, and cryptocurrencies might affect the current the upcoming trends in the crypto market, right?
For sure. And in a way, it's good in the sense that as a regulated asset and as a regulated asset class, we have a lot more growth that we can than we can basically have and use and everything. And at the same time, we also have institutional money coming in right now. So it's not only all of us, like all the people since 2012 and
Exactly.
2013, just dumping into each other and making
Yeah.
just a super inefficient market where where BTC wasn't liquid enough for whales to exit, so they just push the BTC to other alts on a leverage way. It still happens. It still
Yeah.
happens. It's still the nature of this market, but it's not as pronounced now because they're institutions. There's billions of dollars in positions. There's a lot more into the market. So just to get on a general basis what I was saying over here, I
Yeah.
analyzed the total crypto market cap, and this is what I had before. Like this was our all time high. This was our summer, which was kind of awful. And then we just started having all the different institutional push because there was this ETF
It's
who was
buying,
gonna be
right?
accepted. So what people were doing, what the institutions were doing, and you can check this by open interest. Open interest is the amount of people that are going like short or long on a financial vehicle, right? So all the money
Mhm.
that's into the contracts, right, into the perpetual or the future contracts that a certain asset has. It could be option contracts as well, but it's mostly on contracts, right? So you can check that because CME had a huge boom. We can actually show you guys that over here in a second. But Yeah, so they were front running basically everything, and then all of the people just went super ape on it and just kept buying, right? So that was this growth that we had from basically from July up until September.
Yeah.
So yeah, we some people might say, yeah, this is a cup and handle over here, like
Hmm.
cup and handle, and we had a breakout and a retest of that same all-time high, and yeah, we had it, but to be honest, the breakout we received was, this seems to be more like liquidation driven than it is spot driven as far as the market. So when people try to short something, uh, a very obvious place,
Yeah.
what's going to happen is that market makers are going to make the most out of that liquidity, and they're just going
Exactly.
to liquidate.
You have to just buy it, and let prices go upwards again.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
it's just easy liquidity, right? It's
Yeah.
just easy liquidity to catch and just grab for yourself. So that's why you see like this false breakouts, and we will see them more in the next charts as well. And
Hmm.
ever since then, we haven't really had much of an influx of money into the market. It's just
Hmm.
capital rotation between BTC into ETH, into the L1s, and into the L1s into the different coins that make part of those ecosystems. So Terra, you know Avax, Solana, Soluna Avax. That's what people call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here's the with BTC. When we exclude BTC, we have this, right? So something important that I want to show you guys is that on each and every one of these charts, we see that the general trend that we were having has been broken, which is this a diagonal line that we see over here has been broken since then. Um, and like we have only been doing like just general retests on important levels.
Hmm.
So if we check on total crypto market cap, excluding BTC, it's more or less the same story, but it's a
Yeah.
little bit better. It looks a little bit better because it's closer to the daily breaker or the order blocks where we have the
Hmm.
most orders. I do this in line and not candles, because on candles it can look confusing, but if you do it
Yeah.
on lines,
Take out the noise, right? Yeah.
yeah, it's much easier. So this order block here is just made by the previous all-time high, uh,
Hmm.
and like all the previous all-time highs that we had, and it's basically what we have been retesting since then. There's not much money coming in or out of it, and as you can see, this is basically the moment where we haven't really seen much movement. Yeah, there's some localized growth that we've seen basically on Terra, on AVAX, not even on
Yeah.
Solana, but on some particular chains and some particular
Exactly.
assets like Jewel, like One Harmony, CRV, CVX, and a ton of others that have different narratives. But there hasn't been like major growth that we saw early in the year. So
Yeah.
that's how to understand it. Um, Same here. A crypto total market cap, excluding BTC and ETH. This one looks actually a little bit better. Why? Because
Yeah.
it's retesting. It's retesting this. It's retesting this order block, which we have had trouble breaking in the other charts, and it mostly means that okay, there's more movement in the other alts that are not ETH and the other cryptocurrencies that are not ETH or BTC. So
Hmm.
basically, that's what you can see, the nature of the past 2 months just reflected in these charts, right? So it's just cup and handle again, false breakout. Then after that, we just had like a bearish retest on it, and now we have a retest on this support and
Areas.
resistance area.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could make the SNR flip. So I'm actually bullish on many cryptos and not expecting much from BTC or ETH. It's important to
Yeah.
know though that a lot of the market is basically, it's just basically leverage BTC and leverage ETH into alts. So there's higher beta, right? So if BTC moves 5%, then many alts are gonna move 20%. So and same goes to ETH. So that's more or less as a general overview. Also on BTCD, which is dominance, many people
Mhm.
look at this. Not many people really understand it, but that's what I'm trying to.
For people who don't know what a Bitcoin dominance is, if you want to explain it in layman's terms, how would you say it is?
No, it's just as the name implies. It's just
Huh?
how the market cap of BTC, how how much is it over, like divided by the total crypto market cap, basically.
Yeah.
So that's more or less yeah, that's more or less it. What it
Yeah,
means.
it's basically the market cap of Bitcoin compared to the overall crypto market cap.
Yeah, it's of
Yeah.
course it's been trending down and it's gonna trend even lower because the market, unlike years before when I started doing crypto, like we didn't have on ramps or off ramps. If you wanted to buy anything, you had to do so through buying BTC, and if you wanted to exit stuff, you needed to exit through BTC. And also, like most of the market was just again what most people did, and especially whales, and whales still do this. Like if they have a lot of BTC, what they do is that they use it as collateral on future contracts. So because there was an inverse correlation between between BTC price and alts before. So what happened is that if your alt went down, then BTC most likely was going to go up. So your collateral was going to be worth more. So it was very hard for you to get liquidated. So what people did was that everybody just basically they leverage up on BTC as collateral, and we owe that to Arthur Hayes, who was the founder of BitMEX. Many some people in the chat or in this video or in this call might know BitMEX. Some people might know from Arthur Hayes, but yeah, he was and he was cruel. Back then, he was cruel. Like he was telling us on the troll box, like I'm gonna liquidate you, and he went for it.
Wow.
It's like Sam does on FTX, but Sam's less
Yeah.
fun. So just to
Yeah.
understand this, whenever we see this kind of sharp movements to the downside, it means that we're having basically an alt season or a lot of growth in alts, right? And when we get to so and so like resistance or support in this chart, it doesn't necessarily mean that okay, then BTC is gonna go up by a lot. It doesn't necessarily mean that. What it does mean is that BTC is more liquid than the other assets. So if
Mhm.
everything is gonna go down like by a lot, then since BTC is the most liquid, then it's gonna go down the least. So what would happen if you if all the alts start going down in market cap, then how do you see that reflected in this chart? That's where we do bottoms. But that does not necessarily mean that okay, so this is BTC's turn to go up, which is a common mistake that I see like a lot on crypto Twitter and other places. Like people are
Yeah.
saying like, yeah, this is gonna go just BTC now. Look at the dominance, especially with the TikTok traders. Please do not follow TikTok traders. They do not know what they're doing at all.
Yeah, not at
They
all.
just, they're just
They're sometimes an embarrassment for the community. They do like really they say really hyped stuff that have no backing.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, some of them can be decent, but you'll be better off just learning on your own. But that's
Yeah.
what this means, right? So for instance, right now it's not that BTC has been going up or anything. It's simply that BTC has been going less down than the other things because it's more liquid, and that's
Yeah.
how you must understand. As there's a better proxy for alt exposure, and that would be ETH BTC. ETH
Mhm.
BTC is a much better proxy for alt exposure because most like let me explain this in an easier way. If you're a whale, you need liquidity. People need to understand how liquidity works, right? if you are a whale and you cannot go buying the same kind of low cap stuff that we buy, and we make the thousands and thousands and thousands percent. They cannot do that, because when they buy, like, even if they try to buy just in small chunks, then it's gonna go up by a lot, because they have like millions and millions of dollars and billions of dollars positions. They do not have like 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 100,000 positions. They have millions of dollars in positions, right?
Mhm.
So what they're looking for is liquidity. So what does this mean? Most of the major whales, right? They go through the most liquid to the least liquid, and then back again as
Ah,
risk on and risk off
yeah,
behavior
that's smart.
here,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So that's something to understand. And what's the most liquid alt that's not BTC? It's ETH,
Mhm.
right? So ETH BTC is a much, much, much better proxy for alt exposure. This is just the what historically what we've seen on ETH BTC. This was a Livermore cylinder, just a long accumulation of 2 years. And what most people on crypto Twitter and elsewhere are going to show you is this like kind of flag, and how we're retesting that same top of the range here. And most people are going to tell you, yeah, we're going to get to zero point 0.1 or 0.12, which are historically the biggest resistances that we have yet to clear. And it might happen, but if BTC is as 50K, then ETH at zero point 0.1 would be just $5,000. Know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's a way to understand of the market, but it's a good way to see what's outperforming what, right? Because if you're not gonna if you're not gonna outperform BTC, then just buy and hold. Know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly,
So
exactly.
yeah, don't get chopped to death. So yeah, that's basically what we have on ETH BTC. Um, Other than that, I also wanted to show you. So that's more or less how I analyze the broad market. I do this every week on weekly openings. I also try to check everything as far as weekly charts, on monthly charts as well. Like if I go to BTC USD, there's still tons of things that I can tell you guys about this. This is more or less the range that we've been moving on. This is the yearly range, basically, more or less. And we've been at the mid range. So there hasn't been many things happening really, because there hasn't been any liquidity. But that might change in exactly 5 minutes from now with the
Wow.
FOMC. That might change. So just be prepared for that. And this is just the mid range. We could be stuck on this range for a long while. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
I
lie.
agree. I
It
agree.
could happen. It could happen because we just had an insane growth in the past 2 years of only like up only market, super bullish momentum. It happens every 4 years because we have the halvening of rewards,
Yeah,
and this derives a lot of movement. Why does it happen? It's it's a little bit more complicated to understand, but if you're a miner and your costs are either the same or they're growing year to year, right? And you need to cover for the lost rewards that you're getting. What you're gonna do is that you're gonna put those BTC in the market, right? And how do you put those BTC in the market? You're not gonna sell them into the market, because then you will decrease the value of the BTC, because you're way more liquid than anybody else in the market. You got like chunky positions. So what do? You invest it in the different alts. And that's what we used to call the alt season. Well, we had all the blow off tops on everything, right? So, and that's why that's been the cycle on 2017, 2013, 2021. That's more or less the reason. But things are getting more liquid right now, and miners are not in China anymore. Miners are now in America, and they can hedge their mining operation in different ways. So we're a much more mature asset class right now, and we can actually grow. I do not think that we're gonna be completely decoupled, because that's not gonna happen in one day. right?
Yeah,
But
I agree.
so things that I look into, so yeah, dailies. Okay, I do look at the EMAs, or exponential moving averages. Why do I use exponential moving averages instead of using
Simple.
simple moving averages? Because this market moves too fast.
Yeah,
That simple. Exponential moving averages give a higher value or a higher weight the closer you are to the to
accurate price. Yeah,
target. So that's why I use EMAs. I use 9 and 21 because they're being pretty good to me, honestly, and they're a very good signal of when the market's gonna go down. If you see
yeah,
over here, we have a death cross. Yeah, just so people understand, they are the average, the moving average of the different past values, right? So what happens is that you have a fast one and you have a slow one. So when the fast one goes above the slow one, it means
yeah,
that bullish momentum, and you can basically just um, along it. And same thing goes to the other side. If the slow goes above the fast one, it means that we're that's just bearish momentum, right? But if you see over here, this is on daily candles. The moment we got the death cross, we haven't seen any higher highs or higher lows. It's just been down only ever since then. So,
exactly.
and same thing with the golden cross. I make this yellow and blue because when I was being talked about markets, my teacher or my guru or whatever, he said, look
Yeah,
for the gold in the river. If the gold is above the water, then it's safe to go in. If the water
exactly.
is above the gold, then you're not gonna get anything. And that's why I do it like yellow and blue. It's much easier to control. But
It's
so
it's easier to discern on a visual level as well. I think like it's versus just looking at this at a very plain chart. You will not be able to discern. And by the way, I'm someone who's very visual, and I think it helps a lot of people to understand when they just directly look and they can see like colors.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And then there's so I check on daily. I check on 3 day, because the 3 days, a lot of people use it and a lot of whales use it as a reference. So I tend to check on a 3 day basis as well. It helps
Hmm.
because you can usually locate like good order blocks and good support levels. Like if you look at this, for instance,
Yeah,
it could be like an easy invalidation spot, like 45K 467, and so on. um and then you have the weekly. And I exited most of my leverage positions back
hmm,
in this week, half of
yeah,
November. Why did I do it? Simple. Like I'm gonna some basic market structure lessons for people in the chat. So you, as far as market structure, you want to see higher lows and higher highs if you're gonna be bullish, and you want to see lower lows and lower highs if you're gonna be bearish, right?
hmm,
So back in this structure and on this candle right here, the moment that we started to close on a weekly below the low that gave us the high, that's the
yeah,
moment I said, okay, we're doing lower lows. We're doing lower lows, and I don't see, and we were already overbought. So I think it's impossible for us to go and get a complete higher high just from this. And
yeah,
this looked exactly like this. Like this candle right here is exactly the same as this. Well, we didn't have the complacency shoulder here,
yeah,
like we did. We can still have it. We can still have it, but it's not the most likely result right now, just to be quite completely honest. And
yeah,
then the other thing that I've been doing as far as getting some zones, some regions where I see support and resistance is going on a monthly, right? So you see on a monthly, and you start to see You start to see like divergences, like bearish divergences. We start to see that we're getting into oversold levels. We're starting close. We're starting to close below the mid range, which is not a good look.
Yeah,
But this was the major support zone,
exactly.
which I signal, which was over here, right?
Exactly. I
And
agree. We are at a very strong support currently.
yes, it's been basically like just like steel. It has
Yeah.
been completely on it. So yeah, so I go on a monthly just to see where we at and where what we're doing as far as both as a cycle, both as a price wise and whatnot. Because again, this is my approach to the markets. So I check crypto total market cap to see if we're dumping into each other or if there's new money coming in. I check crypto total cap market cap excluding BTC to see how should I approach my alt exposure. Then I go to a total three, which is basically excluding BTC and ETH, to see if there's too much froth in the environment, and then after that, I go to BTC and ETH directly. Mostly, you can act on signals for BTC and buy stuff on ETH. For
Mhm.
example, that's something that you can do because again, if BTC moves 5% up, ETH is gonna go up. Like I mean, like 10-15%. So I do that a lot. So when we're at bottoms like that, I just go leverage long on ETH. So because BTC is king simply due to liquidity. It's not because of use. It's not because it's storage of value. It's not because of whatever digital gold and whatever we want
Yeah,
to say. It, it's just it's the most liquid, and
yeah.
that matters a lot as far as markets. So and as an intraday, the the time frames I like to use the most are
Mhm.
actually 12 and 6 hours. And when I want to get my entry, when I want to get my entry into the zone as just 1 hour, or if I'm gonna do like a really quick scalp, I might go into 15 minutes and 30 minutes. But that's not
Okay.
something that I recommend honestly because there's a
Yeah.
lot of noise there. So it's just it's just that as far as how I see it. Now you might be questioning yourself, okay, but then how do I judge what the market has been doing? And that's where I'm gonna show you another thing that I do as charting and all my trading and everything, right?
Hmm.
So I basically created this little index, and I do indexes like this. That green line on the left, that's the 1st of January. So
Ah,
this
beginning of the
is
year of
basically
2021.
yeah. So I put 30 of the top market cap coins, and I usually just create by sector. So I add, for instance, if I'm trying to judge sectorial performance, I would multiply like all the play to earn um, tokens. I would add them and make an index line. Then I would
Uh-huh.
add all the L1s and I would add it as an index line. So I can do something like this and compare by percentage, which is basically performance. So this is a way that we can judge what happened last year and how I'm judging what's going to happen next year, right? So what do we have here? The one that grew the most, uh, Axie Infinity, which had
Hmm.
an insane performance on the top, like just from
Oh,
the 1st of January, and it was 27%, 27,000%.
thousand. Wow.
So that's absolutely insane. That's just insane. That's basically insane.
Yeah.
So that's what do we get from that? Play to earn is here to stay.
Hmm.
Axie Infinity got to be bigger than like four of the top five of biggest um, gaming companies in the world. So it of course play to earn is here to stay. There's a lot to learn about that. More so than the gaming part is more about the accessibility and the
Hmm.
ease of a UI. Because to me, at least, play to earn games are. terrible. They're not good
Yeah.
games right now, but
Especially for
they're
gamers who already play
yeah,
very good games with high
yeah,
quality
like
and
people who are into finance and crypto and markets don't want to be like playing those games, and people who are gamers, they don't want to get anything that's just financed like that. So what's basically happening, it's DeFi with extra steps. And you'll see that the impact of Axie Infinity is that a lot of people in the third world countries started to use it and earn more money from
yeah,
playing Axie than they did from working hours upon hours upon hours back at the fields or whatever job they had. So
yeah,
that's a tendency to be analyzing. And what I'm looking for into the gaming part, mostly gaming DAOs, mostly gaming models that make a lot of sense. I know Delphi Digital is working on a lot of tokenomics around it. I'm actually just working on that as well.
awesome.
With Lars Duzet, which is a he's one of the greatest gaming insights guy ever, and he hopped into the space for the crypto stuff. So I already had talks with him. We're working on that as well. But that's one thing. Um, then what else do we have as far as performance? We see stuff like Sand. What does this tell you? This tells you that the metaverse is here to stay, right? And we've seen a tons of projects. We've seen Adidas, we've seen Nike go into the
Recently,
metaverse.
yeah, sure, sure.
Adidas bought a ton, like a ton of digital real estate, which is something that we're gonna start seeing a lot.
Yeah,
um, like real estate realtors, and a lot of fashion into the metaverse, which is something that Nike is already doing. Like Nike bought one of the biggest NFT dolls, which
yeah,
just to push them into creating stuff. And they're in the future, we'll start seeing more events that you can see live, like live music events, like concerts. We will start seeing sports stuff, and you can see tokens such as Really, such as Seek,
hmm,
CEEK, and
yeah,
other tokens for projects that are doing exactly this. And it's here to stay, mostly because people are not going to trust Facebook, and those who trust Facebook is going to end up buying the one that develops the most, right? And
yeah,
that's more or less what we're looking for into the metaverse. But they're trends that you need to be looking into, because the market is telling you, and I'm showing you right here. So what else had some big movement? FTM and Matic, as that's FTN and Matic represent solutions to the problems that ETH presents. And what are the problems that ETH presents? They've been the same problems and the same issues that we were discussing back in 2016, 2017. Like, guys, you need to understand something. LPs are not a new thing. The general idea of DeFi is not a new thing. Um, and the scalability issues and all that is not a new thing. Back in 2016, the major critique that was around Ethereum was basically, how do we scale with if we
yeah,
have a proof of work, um, a validation mechanism. So what are the issues that it brings basically with scalability? We have speed, we have price
hmm, gas,
of
yeah,
gas and fees, right? And yeah, so what have we seen in the market this year? L1s that are basically ETH, but more centralized, so they're faster, or they're ETH but with lower fees because their token is very low, right? So, and other L1s that have a settlement layer based in
hmm,
stable coins like Luna, where you don't need to be spending, for instance, Luna to pay as gas because you have UST. So you can have a fee. The settlement layer does not interfere with the protocol layer as a whole, with the token,
yeah,
right? So that's kind of the narratives that we've seen, and FTM and Matic are just like scalability for all the different things that ETH does, and they're gonna keep growing. They're gonna keep growing. Matic, I don't know, but FTM for sure. FTM, I can tell you for sure that it's gonna happen. Why? Because ETH has basically outpriced 80% of retail. 80% of retail cannot buy a token on Uniswap because they would need to spend like $2,000 just to make it worth it. Because if
Yeah.
not, they're already gone in fees, and
True.
that's
True.
kind of the thing that the trends that we've been seeing, right?
Yeah.
So here's the other thing that I was saying: all the L1s, so Luna, Solana, One, which is basically Harmony. Um,
Mhm.
then we see like other assets that have grown a lot. Of course, Dogecoin had an insane run, absolutely insane run. But then we see stuff like Engine, which is mostly NFT related, right?
Yeah.
And we start to see other solutions like LRC, which is Loop Ring, which is basically another scalability solution for everything that's ETH. So those are trends that the market shows us, and those are trends that we can move. We're gonna are gonna keep appearing, and that's where I drive my decisions from. For instance, if DeFi
Mhm.
is getting big, what's stopping traditional markets from just taking a loan on traditional finance on a, say, basically on a 2%, 3% interest rate, and then putting it into a yield producing investment in DeFi for around
Yeah.
20%? What's
We
stopping
might
people?
see a lot of arbitrage from traditional finance. That's for
It's
sure. If
already happening. It's already
yeah.
happening, and that's actually one of the trends that I wanted to show you guys.
Mhm.
It's already happening because and it's not gonna be nice for the people that do not know as much about like traditional finance, because of course these guys will win in experience on experience, you
True.
know. So we
True.
are starting to see mostly options markets. For instance, people still don't know or still don't recognize the impact that option contracts have had in crypto with Deribit, and that's one of the reasons why Deribit is so important. And what's happening with Open, what's happening with Ribbon Finance, what's happening with Dopex, what's happening with those kind of things. So
Mhm.
it's something to take into account. Uh, like if I had a small list over here of the different option contracts. So yeah, what's another trend that we will see? Basically, since there's a lot of regulation and people are getting their accounts just frozen within central exchanges, we're gonna keep seeing more decentralized exchanges with more options and more complex structures. So we have GMX, for instance, we have DYDX, we have PERP. Both DYDX and PERP have some of the most profitable, like revenue generating protocols. Then we have Mango on Solana, Drift Protocol on Solana as well. As far as options, we have Psi options. We have Psi options in Solana. We have Ribbon Finance. We have Dopex. Um, we have what else? What else can I show you guys? Because there's tons of trends that we're
Yeah.
gonna see.
Yeah.
For instance, a lot of the push for Spell and Luna has been also the fear of centralized stablecoins and their point or of failure. So that's why you see USD going so hard. That's also why you see Spell and Magic Internet Money going so hard. Um, and there are other things that have been happening. For instance, let's show you one of my portfolios here. Like this, if you've ever heard about the Frog Nation and what the Frog Nation is, basically, the Frog Nation is basically Daniela Sesta, which is mostly like the third wave of crypto of DeFi, more or less. Like the DeFi, pre DeFi was the things that we used to do on Bancor and on TRX on Tesos, like long ago, like 2018, more or less. It was very new. Like it
Yeah.
was before the DeFi to DeFi. That
Mhm.
was Justin's idea of a convention back then. I remember
Yeah.
that the news back then. It was crazy. He used to be a marketer, and then he became like super big, and now he's like massive. It's incredible to see.
Yeah.
But you
Big
you
follower.
see these kinds of stories. So
Yeah.
then then DeFi 1.0 was the summer of DeFi, where we saw stuff like SNX, like yeah, SNX, maybe Compound, MakerDAO, DAI, and all of that,
Hmm.
where you could have AMMs and lending, money markets, basically
Yeah.
borrowing and lending, and
A.
that you could use Curve as well. Then the second wave was more like the more specific, like GRT, Then we had Luna with Mirror and Anchor. Then we have Fay Protocol. Then we had Curve. Then we had like a ton of more complex stuff. And
Mhm.
then DeFi, this third wave has been basically Daniela Sesta. Um, and everything that's magic, internet money, abracadabra, uh, ohm forks, like ohm
Mhm.
time, it's magic, one of those magic and all of that. And that's one of the biggest trends right now. Danny is taking the world by storm. He's
Really.
basically taking sushi, and he's basically conquering all of sushi. So I
Wow.
made a little portfolio here of around the Frog Nation, because it's definitely
Mhm.
something to keep a look at. So we
Mhm.
have Spell, which is at a support right now. We have Time, which is Wonderland. There's only one centralized exchange where you can buy Time. If not, you would have to do it through Uniswap.
Yeah.
There's Ice, but not Ice the Decentraland one, but Ice the Popsicle,
Mm.
which is also at a support right now. I see it as a possible, like, something to buy basically right now, because ISIS Popsicle Finance is one of the AMMs
Yeah.
that's supporting everything. FTM is by Andre Cronje.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce his last name,
Yeah. Most
but
people say it like that. Yeah.
mostly what's been happening is that there's really not a lot of yield in just buying and holding stuff right now, which is just capital rotation. So people are
Mhm.
looking for yields in stable coins. So you need to look into what is has been locking down all the different money in the system, and that's something that you can do if you analyze, on DeFi Pulse, for instance. And this is
Mm.
how, like, if you've been on our Discord server, this is how I find and how I've discovered stuff like the Fey protocol, how Curve, like, if anybody took the signals that we were dropping right there, Curve has grown a ton just in the past month. Then it's Fey with Tribe. Then we have a lot of the other ones as well. It's just you need to understand why it happens, right? So on DeFi Pulse, I don't look at ETH or BTC right now, because I'm more interested in where people are locking in USD, right?
Mhm.
So of course we have MakerDAO, because that's where people just borrow against ETH and get and their stable coins and whatnot. But we have Curve. We have Curve with 16.13 billion, and this leads me in Convex on the third, which is
Yeah.
very interesting. I'll explain what's happening right now. Right now we have the CRV wars, other Curve finance wars, and here's the thing. So many protocols right now need the liquidity. They need the liquidity in order to be able to grow and to do the kind of things that we need on a DeFi 4.0 or DeFi 3.0, or on the next step of DeFi, right?
Yeah.
So, derivatives, DEXs, insurances, and all that, they need the liquidity. So what's happening? Curve is the DEX with the most liquidity. and it's got a governance issuance that basically and process that makes everybody wants to participate. People can participate through CVX, which is convex, and the other VE, like VE CRV, is basically just like a governance vote that you're putting on something, and you can make bribes from different protocols through convex. So that's why convex has so much money right now inside it, because it's helping on the votes for curve finance. Then we also have a butterfly, which is, you won't see it as butterfly. You will see it as, let me show you. I can show, well, like this butterfly redacted cartel, CoinGecko. So you might have seen this through crypto Twitter and you have no idea what it is. Like
Uh-huh.
this redacted cartel. Cartel is basically a leverage position on CDX and CRV that counts the votes and the rebase of all the bribes that are being made into the CRV wars for that liquidity. That's the fight for liquidity that we're seeing right now. So that's what we see CRV cartel. Yeah, CRV cartel. So we have CRV, CVX. Um, sorry to. This is basically the growth that it has had. Uh,
Wow.
it's been insane. It's been
Yeah.
actually insane. So yeah, that's butterfly or redacted cartel, as you might have seen it on Telegram or on Twitter or in any of these places. Then we have options like the new Robinhood for the DeFi things. People want to look at it, Dopex. So then we have a Dopex, which for some reason I couldn't find it over here, but this is the rebate token. So
Mhm.
just to
Mhm.
show you the bullishness it has had. It's part of the CRV cartel because they're bribing a lot. Because if they want to have success for being the next place to be doing decentralized options, decentralized future contracts, decentralized perpetuals, decentralized all of this, they need the liquidity. That's why they're bribing so much through CVX and redacted cartel. Back into CRV. CRV is the governance token, and VE CRV is the like the vote, right? And a lot of let's say a lot of different assets are taking that same governance model now, which is another trend to check. This is
Yeah.
Frax. Frax is another issuer of stablecoins. Does not look as good right now. This looks very much like a complacency shoulder. I wouldn't buy right here, and might bite
It's a bit
on
too
a,
high. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I might buy if it keeps dropping a lot, but I wouldn't buy right here.
Mhm.
Then these are issuers of another stable coin that is, it's more able to use other stuff, right? So sushi as well as part of the redacted cartel. They're also interested, although they're another AMM. But there's Ohm, of course. Okay, I don't know why this
That's
does not.
quite an extensive list right there. Yeah. You said earlier that you shared that with our premium Discord channel, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do. I check
Everything.
like every kind of research that I do. I share on the Discord server for all the people to check and perhaps just ask questions about it.
I'm going to
So
put a link to our Discord channel in the comment section and in the description of this video later on for people to be able to see in the details on how to subscribe to our premium channel.
yeah, so these are other assets that have been doing with CRV Cartel. So we have a tribe, which is the Fay protocol, and I found Fay protocol through DeFi polls because they're one of the ones that are carrying the most liquidity, locked in liquidity. Um, then there's Alchemics. I I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's basically self-repaying loans, which is quite an interesting topic. If you've ever used Anchor Protocol, imagine you could get like self-repaying loans with a yield that you're getting from what you're doing. So it's an interesting concept. I would not go like super in depth with it, but it's super interesting just to check it.
Mhm.
Magic Internet Money. We got yield aggregators or auto farmers. We got like or asset managers, if you want to say it in another way. It's like Yearn Finance. Um, then we also have Beefy as well, which is very audited. Um, Token is another one of these assets that's in part of the CRV cartel. Um, Popsicle, Time, Wonderland, FTM, FTM BTC, and Matic, which is not looking as good. This is not looking as good right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
But we'll have to we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's as far as CRV. Then we have. I also check the general markets because
Mhm.
there's a lot of
Mhm.
things to know just from checking what's moving in the market. For instance, I do check DXY, which is the dollar currency index. When the dollar is moving up, BTC is usually not doing too well, and in general, the crypto market is not doing too well. And you can check
Yeah.
like all of this. So
It's like an
if
inverse relationship between both. If you plot
hmm
maybe Bitcoin
hmm
price, yeah.
exactly.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, if I go and do this, just an easy way to do so. Compare, and I go DXY, on Neopane. You'll see mostly that DXY is going up, when DXY is going up, of course,
That's the
BTC
rough,
is
yeah,
going
the rough
down.
quarter of 2021. Yeah.
Exactly. And when it's going down, when it's heading down,
Hmm.
like all of this,
Yeah.
see, like basically all of this, when it's going down, that's where BTC is doing the exponential stuff.
Mhm.
That's more or less one way to look at it. So there's a lot of stuff that I've been trying to cover here as far
Yeah,
as
yeah.
fundamentals
It was a really,
and
really
technical stuff.
interesting, yeah, yeah, really interesting stuff, man.
So
A lot of things like we can like just see how there are many things to look at other than only Bitcoin price, like many people do, and they just throw assessments about altcoins and everything only because, for example, Bitcoin price is falling or it's rising. So we just saw a very small glimpse of all the potential stuff that one can do, and Daniel, of course, is an expert in this matter, and he's the one who helps our Discord community in their daily activities, whether it is pushing research or news or trade setups or all the hot topics that are happening. And this like last bit of our live stream, I'm just going to address really quick questions that we received on the chat. We have
mhm.
Steve asked um, if more mining happened, prices will be higher. I believe that was in the beginning when we spoke about the mining activity between China and USA, and he was asking if there was more mining happening in the world. I think that's what the question. I believe. Will prices of cryptocurrencies rise or will they fall?
It's not that there was rise or fall because it does not affect it in the same way as directly as it did before, right? Because back then, give me a second. Minor net position. Let's see if I can. Whoop, dox myself here. It's not letting me show you the different charts like now. I haven't been paying the subscription, but just give me a second here.
So you're you're going to maybe show the mining activity that's been happening
Yeah.
versus Bitcoin's price.
Hmm. So it does not necessarily mean that it's going to go up or down. It just means that it's a lot
Yeah.
safer as a network. But
Mhm.
in the other hand, miners used to, like way before. Here we go. Crypto point. We can show you miner flows. Oh, it's getting a little bit slow. Sorry. um, See, like this is what we used to see before. When
Mhm.
there was a
Mhm.
lot of minor outflows, they were gone from the reserves and putting it into the markets, into the exchanges, and then we got a lot of movement, like a lot of leverage movement, like woof, going
Yeah.
super long. But then when a lot of it just went down to this is just the same
Yeah.
range that we got
Mhm.
after these moves, right?
Mhm.
And ever since then, it's just been going down, and the miners' reserve has been going up. That has been
Mhm.
going up and up and up and up and up and up. Most on-chain analysts will tell you that yeah, this is super bullish because they are not selling. But here's the thing: most on-chain analysts have not decoupled from the fact that the mining operation is now mostly American focused, and
Mhm.
America even gave them enough tools to hedge their mining operation without having to sell into the market. So
Nice.
this is healthy. This is healthy for the market because
Mhm.
we will not see like that super hyper mega giga dump that we used to see
Yeah.
before, like everything's going minus 90% in 2 days. It doesn't mean that it can't happen, but it's very unlikely that it will happen because now
Mhm.
miners, they can access futures with enough liquidity. They have ETFs, they have GBTC where they can sell or negotiate over the counter. They also can sell green credits. That's why Tesla and mostly Elon Musk was interested in making all the mining farms,
Yeah.
um, and back with Sailor as well. And they also have all these very liquid tools that allow them to increase their reserves without having to sell into the market and screw everything up as it used to be before, right?
Mhm.
So in a sense, it's not that it's gonna get more and more high or whatever. It just means that
Yeah.
the network is gonna be safer, the asset class is
Mhm.
safer, and it's much more efficient because it was not efficient before. It was just
Before, yeah.
liquidity musical chairs between the miners that needed to exit their positions, and then they
Mhm.
just especially after the halvenings, and that's why we used to have like that super huge uh like 4 year cycles that we had that went super chat long right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
that's that's why it happened, and I'm explaining the basis of it behind it. So of course minor reserves are going to keep going up. They don't need to sell.
Mhm.
they can
True.
they
True.
can they can actually they can borrow against their BTC now.
Yeah.
They can use it as collateral. They can go delta neutral and hedge their positions within the market. They can sell over the counter. They can sell green credits. They can do a lot of things. So this is more or less what
Yeah. Yeah. I think to answer this question, no, it's not directly related, right?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
in a way, if more is mined, it means that more hash, more it's more use, and since
Yeah.
there's a finite supply of BTC, then yeah, it's gonna be more
Yeah.
valuable due to its scarcity
True. True.
in a way, if you wanted to see
Yeah.
it that way.
Another question was, will XRP go back higher, maybe towards $3? I think he's referring to the all-time high that XRP reached back in 2017, when it kind of touched $3, and then it went all the way downwards towards 18 cents back. And today, Ripple XRP still did not reach its previous all-time high. I believe it's at currently around 82 cents. I think, right? 81, 82, yeah, 81.5. And there's currently a lawsuit still between Ripple Company and the SEC. So my personal view is I think that until the case gets resolved or settled, we might not see this big jump for XRP. What do you think, Daniel?
Oof. Well, XRP, I'm not a big fan, and
Not
I'm gonna
bad,
show
yeah.
you guys why. I'll make a lesson out of this.
Mhm.
So why it happens? Like XRP is it's not even a crypto. Like there's nothing cryptographic within XRP. It's just insta-mined, no proof of work, no proof of stake, no proof of anything. It's just an infinite supply of coins that's already in the market, and they can dump anywhere and whenever they want.
Yeah.
So and if you wanted to check the distribution, you can see who is holding all of the XRP.
Mhm.
So XRP, I think one of the best things that has happened to XRP is having that case against the SEC,
Mhm.
because it's created a cult behind XRP, and it's more people value more anarchy rather than competence,
Yeah.
and most people don't even know how XRP works or what it wants to do. They just know that they're against the SEC and they want to see the suits lose, and
Yeah. I agree.
that's more or
I
less
agree.
what happens.
I
Um,
don't think this year it's gonna happen. By the way, going back to $3, unless there's like very strong hype towards XRP, maybe winning the case, or first, like I think there are many factors. I think the overall cryptocurrency market should be on an uptrend for XRP to go as well on an uptrend. I don't think if the market is crashing, XRP will boom to $3. So that's the first factor. The second factor I think is the SEC case, specifically winning the case or maybe settling, because we know that other crypto companies also had the same SEC lawsuit with the SEC lawsuit case. So I think those two variables will play a big role in XRP's price in 2022.
yeah, like it's XRP has more value by community and by
Mhm.
statement than it does
Yeah,
as technology or tokenomics or its incentive layer, because it does not. It only has this big of a it has this big of a market cap simply because its supply is insane. It's absolutely
Mhm.
insane, and it's already unlocked, and
Yeah,
it's insta mined. But
true.
the SEC unregistered securities offering thing, it just makes it very popular and
Mhm.
makes people rally behind it. So I'm not saying that it won't go up. It can go up, especially if we consider like this BTC cycles. But it's unlike, at least to me, it is unlikely that we'll see this
Yeah,
like $3 again in a while, because it takes more money to do so. Like back when this happened in 2018, people were pouring BTC into XRP by doing
yeah.
XRP BTC,
There
XRP
weren't much
BTC.
crypto projects anyway back then as well. Do you agree? Like most crypto projects weren't even well established back in 2017. People were only looking, like they were like very the known ones were Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, XRP.
Yeah, the dinosaurs.
Cardano was very low. We had what else? We had like Monero and Ogre.
Like yeah, let me like just to do a quick summary. Like when I joined, the narrative was having BTC, and there was just a bunch of clones of BTC. And when I mean clones, I mean like code clones. When I discovered Dogecoin, it was called Bitcoin Dark, and then
Hmm.
some guy rebranded Bitcoin Dark because it was supposed to be like privacy focused. It
Yeah.
and to be used into the Silk Road and the black
Wow.
markets and whatnot. And then somebody took the code and made it a meme, and made it a meme on Reddit, and it just rebranded to Dogecoin, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then but then BTC used to pour through these things, and then they got massive dollar valuations, right? Because if they're leverage BTC positions and BTC grows, then they will grow even more. So
Yeah.
this is what I was trying to say. Just look at the volume. Look at the volume here.
Hmm.
See this?
Wow.
All of this volume right here.
To pump it. Yeah. That was
Yeah,
back in 2018,
we've
right?
seen similar volume before. We've seen similar volume before, but even when we did, like, it's 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 more expensive. Like, not everybody has like BTC nowadays is over 5 figures. It's not like it was before when it was 4K. So it's not like,
True.
yeah, let's pour. Like, people don't do that anymore. People just actually they trade in USDT pairs. Most people don't trade in BTC pairs or ETH pairs
Yeah.
anymore, other than DEXs. So for me, it's unlikely, but
Yeah.
I do not have a perfect crystal ball.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
thing.
me too, definitely. Let's see what this year brings anyway for XRP or for also other cryptocurrencies. The start of the year, as we said, was a bit slow, but in the coming weeks, everything is going to get revealed. Whether the market is going to continue bearish or we will see a small break upwards. And yeah, I think that's it for today. Thanks a lot, man, Daniel, for your great call and tips and tricks. I'm going to link in the description the Discord link, and we're going hopefully to see you also in the coming weeks in our live streams. This is not the last one, guys. And yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Cheers,
no,
Dan.
it's been a pleasure. And next week I'll be covering more like other tools and other things that I do to find an edge in the markets, and just find your edge and go with
Yeah,
conviction. And remember, the only thing that you can actually control is your risk management. So just
yeah,
keep an eye on that.
that's correct, man. Thanks a lot. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.